Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Logic and Numbers. It's been quite a while, that I've started up with this channel just a few days, and I hope that you are, following the channel and making the maximum of this, right? So, what we'll do is we are here to discuss this question right now. So, it's a question based on conditions. It's a question based on conditions. So what I'll advise is maybe you can pause this slide for quite some time, go through the question, try it out yourself before you look at the explanation part of it, right? And I'll give you a complete idea as to how to go about such kind of questions which are based on conditions like this, right? Now moving forward, let's look at the explanation part of this. Now if you look at this question that is here, uh, there are four questions to this, yes. And since it is a conditional question, it'll you'll not get a unique arrangement. There are less chances of getting a unique arrangement. So what we are supposed to do, either we go question to question and solve, or we take a little bit understanding of what the question is about and then proceed question wise. So what I'll suggest is we can take a little understanding of what information is given and how we are supposed to be taking the conditions out here. So once we have that understanding, it becomes a little easier for us to move about the questions. So if you look at there's an answering machine. I'm sure you've already read all this, and the six messages which has to be left by one each. One is by Fulan, Ganga, Munni, Jumma, or Sheila in the following conditions. With respect to the following conditions, so it says at the most one person left more than one message. So it's not like everybody has left one message each, right? It says at the most one person left more than one message. So there can be a person who can leave two messages or maybe three messages. The maximum limit is three. Why? Because it says in the next point that no person left more than three messages. So it's like suppose everybody leaves one message each. So because of six, right? So there can be a case when everybody left one message each, right? So I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Everybody is distinct out here. Or maybe I can have a case as in one person is giving two messages. So we are just considering this way. One person has left two messages and the remaining four messages are provided by the remaining four people. Why four different people? Because at the most one person left more than one message. So there can be only one person maximum. There can be only one person who is leaving more than a message. Likewise, since this person can give a maximum of three messages, right? So it can be it can be in any order as such. I mean, the positions of giving the message can be anything. So maybe these three messages are given by the same person, and these ones, the ones that have left blank, are given by the remaining three people. So it looks like there can be six different people in the first case, there can be five different people in the second case, and there can be four different people in the third case. So if suppose everybody is giving a message, then we can have six different people giving the message. If there's a guy who's giving two messages, so apart from that, four other people can give one message each. So altogether, we'll have five people giving the message. So one of them will not be there, leaving a message in that case. And in case there is one guy who's leaving three messages, right? So altogether there'll be only four persons giving messages. There'll be two of them who will not be giving any message in that case, right? So this is what comes into the mind if you look at the first two conditions out here. However, if you look at the next conditions here, it says if the first person is Munni, the last is Laila. So the first message, let's say for example, is given by Munni. The last message will be given by Laila, right? That is what we understand. It's a direct statement, however. So if you look at the next one, however, please understand, if the first person is Munni, the last is Laila, right? So if the first message, let's say first message is given by Munni, the last will be given by Laila. However, let's say the first is not Munni, then we cannot comment on Laila. Laila could be the last, may not be the last, right? So you need to understand this point. The next point, if you see, if Ganga left any message from here, These statements, the next three statements are really crucial for this case. If Ganga left any message, Poolan and Laila also did. So if you understand this, so Ganga leaves a message, we have Poolan, we have Laila who's also leaving a message. Now, as soon as Poolan left any message, then Laila and Sheila also did. So one person also joins in the group, Sheila. So Ganga left, matlab Poolan and Laila left. And as I said, Poolan left the message. That means Laila has left, already counted here, and Sheila has also left. Now, as we see now, Laila has also left a message. So Laila left a message means Munni and Juma also did, right? So we'll say Munni and Juma also did. So what happens in this case? If you see, if Ganga has left a message, the remaining 5 people will also leave a message. The remaining 5 will also leave a message. Is it okay? So it means what? That if I have to make a case, wherein all the 6 people have given a message each, it has to be this first case that I've taken here, that Ganga has to leave a message, and by default everybody else will leave a message, right? However, as we discussed earlier, you know, if Ganga does not leave a message, we have discussed in the case of Munni that if the first person is Munni, obviously the last is Laila. But if the first person is not Munni, the last may or may not be Laila. Likewise for Ganga also. So if Ganga has left a message, then obviously Poolan and Laila also did. But if Ganga did not leave any message, then Poolan and Laila may or may not. Right? It's up to them. However, looking at the scenario, because we need 5 people, let's say I have to make a case wherein there's one guy who has left 2 messages. So who could be that one person who we can remove from this group? We can remove Ganga. Why? Because as soon as Ganga comes in, the remaining 5 have to come in, right? So if I remove Ganga, as we discussed, Poolan and Laila can still deliver or still give a message. They can still leave a message behind, right? So in the second case, it has to be Poolan, it has to be Laila, it has to be S, M, and J. I'm just taking the initials, that is Sheila, Munni, and Jumma. I hope you're understanding this, guys, right? Wherein there'll be one person who will be leaving 2 messages. So for the first case, if I have Ganga, everybody else also joins the group, and everybody is supposed to leave a message each. But in the second case, if I'm removing Ganga, the remaining 5 can still leave a message each, right? And one of these people will give 2 messages, right? Now, how about a case in which all the 3 people, there is one guy who can give 3 messages? So whom should we remove? See, so if you look at Poolan, Poolan left any message. So it's like here, Poolan leaves a message, Laila does, Sheila does, isn't it? And as soon as Laila leaves a message, Munni and Jumma also does, right? So that means what? Like, as soon as Ganga comes into picture, the other 5 have to come into picture. As soon as Poolan comes into picture, the other 4 have to come into picture, right? So if I remove Ganga and if I remove Poolan, I'm left with Laila, Sheila, Munni, and Jumma. So these 4 can still come into picture, because again, if Laila does not leave any message, Sheila and if Poolan does not leave any message, Laila and Sheila, they may or may not. It's up to them again. But since, you know, we have to have only 4 people, they will in that case. And one among these people, one of these, will leave behind 3 messages. That is what you can say, right? So this is how it looks like. Depending on the case. Now, so I hope this makes a lot of sense to all of you. I hope you understood how to, you know, go about thinking and using these conditions well. So if you look at the very first question now, it says the first and the last message on the answering machine could be the first and the second message left by which of the following. So we have not used all these conditions as of now, that all of Laila should be preceding any of Sheila, all of Munni should be preceding. That is only in the condition when we are coming here. So one idea, guys, is, yeah, you know, you try and fulfill the condition, go by options. So it's like, suppose if I put first as Poolan and the last one also as Poolan, can I satisfy the remaining conditions? So it is like here, this is which one? This is case 2, wherein a person has left 2 messages and the others will leave only 1 message. So obviously, who cannot be in picture? Ganga cannot be in picture of this. So I'm left with Laila. I'm left with Sheila, Munni, and Juma. So I have to only try and fulfill this condition that if Laila and Sheila also leaves a message, all of Laila should precede any of Sheila. So maybe it can be something like this. And if Munni and Juma has also left a message, then all of Munni should be preceding any of Juma. So Munni and Juma. So obviously the condition is satisfied, and hence the answer will be A. Hence the answer will be A. However, if you check out for option B, C, or D, they won't satisfy all the conditions, right? So for the first one, the answer happens to be A. And if you want to look out for the other way around, like if you want to understand why B, C, D are not possible immediately, look at B being the first. If Munni is the first, so is it possible for Munni to have the first and the last message? No, because if the first person is Munni, the last is Laila. So obviously not possible. Let's check for Jumma. Is it possible for Jumma to have, right? So let's check. If the first and the last message is of Jumma, we have to understand this point that everybody except Ganga will be there in this. So Munni will definitely be there, who has left a message, right? And all of Munnis should be preceding any of Jummas. So I cannot have a Munni's message which is preceding the first message of Jumma. So that condition will not be fulfilled. Hence, we cannot have C as well. Likewise, if I look for Laila, say suppose for example, the first and the last message was of Laila. What would happen in this case? Right? Then obviously, as we discussed earlier, the only person who will not be there is Ganga. So obviously Sheila will also come into picture, and all of Laila should precede any of Sheila. So that means Sheila should be behind this. The message Sheila should be behind the last message of Laila, which is again not possible, right? So the other way around could have been, you cancel out B, C, and D as being not possible. So the only possibility was A. However, since we understood the conditions well, we could have directly marked the answer as A. So I hope you understand the approach towards such a question. Now let's look at the next question that was there. So this becomes a direct kind of a question because we understand that if Ganga has left the fifth message, so please understand, if Ganga has left the fifth message, and we spoke about this, if Ganga is there, everybody else has to be there. We just spoke about this, right? Because Ganga is there, Fulan, Laila comes into picture, right? Fulan is there, Sheila also comes in, Laila is already there, Laila is there, Munni and Juma also comes in. So all six of them have to give a message each. They have to leave a message each, right? So now if Ganga is having the fifth message out here, right? So just look at, we have to talk about Sheila. So we know that Laila and Sheila also have left a message, and all of Laila should precede any of Sheila. So whatever happens, Sheila's message cannot be first. Why? Because if I keep Sheila's message on the first, then Laila's message should precede this, which is not possible, right? So obviously the answer is A. I don't have to check out for any other thing. I hope this is clear, guys, right? So Sheila being on the first is not possible. Obviously on the second or third, it's a possibility, right? Let's move on. So I hope this is clear. So that was particularly based on the first three, the idea that we got as to when if the message is left is only 1 or 2 or 3, right? The next one. Now there goes that understanding again. The very first part of the discussion that we did. For if we understand that, this is a very question. So we have seen already that there are 3 different scenarios possible, isn't it? And in the first scenario, everybody is there. In the second scenario, if you see, we removed Ganga. In the third scenario, if you see, we removed Ganga and we removed Fulan. And still the remaining 4 people were there, right? So if you just go through this and you just check out Jumma, Munni and Sheila, they must surely have left at least 1 message in every case, right? Either I have Ganga, one case wherein everybody is present, in one case wherein there is no Ganga, still the other people are there, and one of them has given 2 messages, so it could be any of them, but at least 1 message has to be given by them, right? And Likewise, if I remove even Ganga and Phulan, obviously Jhumma, Sheila, and Munni must have left at least one message in this case also. Although there'll be one person who will be giving three, that's completely okay, right? So obviously A, B, and C are is definitely true, but yes, exactly one person left at least two messages, you cannot say. So the answer is D. The answer is D, right? Because the other case, the case could have been that everybody is leaving one message each, so that becomes a false statement. Or there is one person who's left three messages, that is also a possibility, so this becomes false, right? So the answer happens to be three. So moving on to the next one. The next question is the fourth one that you see. If the only message Lela left is the fifth one, so we just try and look at it. So the fifth message is left by Lela, and this is the only message. So which of the following could be true? So maybe you can go by statements and just try and check out if it is feasible or not. Maybe it says Munni left the first message, because now we do not know as to if everybody has left one message each, or there's a person who's leaving two, or there's a person who's leaving three, right? We are only looking for a possibility. So if Munni left the first message, right, then the last message has to be Lela, which is not possible, right? Because if Munni comes first, Lela will come at the last place, right? And the statement becomes false in that case, that the only message left, that Lela left, is a fifth one. So this case is not possible. Obviously, the first one is gone. It says Jhumma left exactly two messages. So now, here you have to come into this condition that if Jhumma has left exactly two messages, right? So there is a person who's leaving two messages. In that case, Ganga will not be there. Everybody else has to be there, right? And then we have to ensure that Munni and Jhumma, have also left a message, obviously in this case. And all of Munni should be preceding Jhumma, isn't it? And Munni, we know, cannot be at the first place. So maybe I can think of a case that Munni, this can be Jhumma, maybe I can place a Jhumma here also. Maybe at the last place, that completely depends. I have to only ensure that the messages of Munni have to be preceding Jhumma. That's it. Then I'm left with Lela. All of Lela should be preceding any of Sheila. So obviously I cannot place, Jhumma at the last, because all of Lela should be preceding Sheila. Sheila comes here, and then I have Phulan. Phulan can come here. So that becomes a possibility and seems to be the right answer, right? So this satisfies all the conditions. So the answer should be B, right? Maybe if you want to cross check for the next two, then also we could have thought. But just imagine if Sheila left exactly two messages. Just imagine. And we know that all of Lela should precede any of Sheila, right? So, because Lela's message is on the fifth one, so both the Sheila's message should be after Lela, which is not possible. So obviously this would have not been possible. And if I take into this condition that Jhumma left the second message, the Jhumma left the second. So as per the last one, all of Munni should precede Jhumma. So Munni has to come at the first place, which is again not possible. So maybe you don't have to check this out. CND have done it for you. So we could have directly marked the answer as B. So I hope guys you understood this, how to go about the question, how to understand, how to make conditions and then apply it as well. So please like, subscribe, and share this. And I'm sure I'll come up with more better questions, and your learning will improve. Thank you.